friends, it's Caitlin and welcome back to the Floating Rock podcast. I hope you're having the most incredible day ever. As you know, here on Floating Rock, it's all about becoming your best self while not taking life too seriously in the process. And today we have a very, very exciting guest. We have Aliya Chen, the CEO of and founder of Stay Golden Hawai'i, a local jewelry company all about, making pieces that last forever and that are super, super cute. We love water safe, all that beautifulness. Aliya took Stay Golden from $0 to $1.3 million in sales within her first year. So I read. You're only growing with over 800K followers across platforms. You are just such an inspiration, and I especially wanted to have you on because I was familiar with Stay Golden, and I love the idea of getting to know someone behind such a well-known brand here in Hawaii, and I feel like what's even cooler is you're just one of the girls, and I feel like we don't get to see that all the time, and especially get to know those people. So yeah, welcome, Aliya.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it.
Well, I guess we can just get right into it. I guess I just wanted to know kind of your origin story, where you grew up, and kind of how your background led you to where you are today.
Well, I was born in China, and when I was 3, my mom brought me here when she married my dad. And so I did grow up here in Hawaii. And I guess growing up, my mom was very strict on me when it came to Asian cultures and the Chinese culture. She actually has a feng shui store in Chinatown.
Oh,
yes,
cool.
In Hawaii. And so a lot of the Chinese cultural standards were instilled in me, while also growing up here and adapting to all the other cultures that we have here too.
Wait, really cool. So how did were you always kind of a jewelry person, or were how did kind of that come about? I love how Stay Golden is linked to Chinese culture, but how did Aliya get to this?
I think a lot of it was inspired by my mom. She did raise me as a single mom, and just seeing how independent she was. I've always knew that I wanted to own my own business. I just didn't know what it was yet, but I had to go to school and do all that.
Yeah.
And so just seeing her being so passionate about, her teaching other people how to, learn the Chinese culture. When I was growing up, I was very negative towards it because she would try to put it on me. But now that I'm a lot mature, I actually find a lot of inspiration from where I came from. And so that's why a lot of it is shown in Stay Golden today.
Oh wait, that's really cool. I had a question written down that you sort of answered, but if you had any more thoughts on it, was it passion before the product, or was it the product before the passion? It sounds like you kind of had that passion for business owning and kind of creating something of your own. Yeah, I guess any thoughts on that?
Funny you asked. It was definitely the product before the passion.
Oh, okay, interesting.
I don't think a lot of people know this, but before I even started Stay Golden, I actually didn't wear any jewelry.
No way.
Yeah, so.
And then if you're not watching on YouTube, guys, she is dripped out. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, I think the first time I got introduced to wearing jewelry was my mom. She gave me this lucky bangle, which I'm actually wearing today. But
that's really cool.
When she first gave it to me, I was I don't really like the way it feels on me, and I just don't like the vibes.
Yeah.
And so I would just take it off when she wouldn't look, and put it back on when she was looking. But I think growing up, I've always knew that my mom, I've seen her do things that she didn't want to do, things that she didn't know how to do, because she wanted to provide for us.
Yeah.
And so, I kind of adapted that mentality too, where I don't necessarily have to like what I do or understand what I'm doing, but if this path is going to get me the results I want, then I will do whatever I can to get there. And so when I first started jewelry, it was more so I wanted to make money online.
Oh, okay.
And then secondly, I was oh, jewelry. I see a need in the market, because growing up, I actually really loved buying jewelry from Brandy Melva. I love buying jewelry from Forever 21. But the number one problem that they all had was they would actually turn green on me.
Tarnish.
Yes. And so I would, obviously, that turned me off right away. And I also had a sensory issue, which is also another reason why I didn't like wearing jewelry, is because I thought it looked really pretty, but just having it on me just made me feel very uncomfortable.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And so I think if you have sensory issues, you understand that in order to get over your sensory issues, you just have to like expose yourself to it.
Mm-hmm.
But like if you're constantly having to take off your jewelry because you're worried about it turning green and all that, like you're never going to like get over that. And so, you know, when I started Stay Golden, I was like, there's no way where I'm gonna make jewelry where people are gonna have to take on and off.
Yeah.
Especially when we're like in such a humid environment.
Yeah.
We're always going to the beach. Like it just didn't really make sense to me. And so I decided to go to the jewelry route, and thankfully people loved it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'm still doing it today. And over time, like the passion grew on me. Like now, like when people like see me and they're like, oh, like when they see me in real life, they don't even recognize me as Aliya. They're like, are you Stay Golden? I'm
oh
like,
my
yes,
God.
I am Stay Golden.
Wait, that's funny.
But I love jewelry. I love the art of jewelry. It's such like a messy process, but in the end, you get such a beautiful piece.
Yeah.
And, you know, over time, like we did more like Hawaii inspired pieces and Chinese inspired pieces because those are like a really big part of who I am.
Yeah. Oh my God, I love all of that so much.
Thank you.
Okay, I thought that was super interesting about the, like, I was gonna ask you, like, oh, like, did you do anything in the design process to, like, make it better for sensory issues? But I guess you kind of answered with, like, if you're taking it on and off, like, that is the issue.
Yep.
So, like, being able to wear it for,
yes. Like,
genius.
I think, like, with anything, like, if you just wear it for a long time, you kind of forget that it's there. Like, a lot of these pieces that I wear, like, I never take off. The only thing I take off are my rings and maybe, like, the charms on my earrings. But truthfully, like, I'm just really lazy and, like, I just forget that they're there. And I don't want to, like, put it back on the next day because that's just way too much work.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you just get over it by wearing it more.
Yeah, I feel like, too, Hawaii, it just has such a big jewelry culture. Like, I took them off for the sake of the microphone, but I'm like, I usually have, like, 5 bracelets on, and then, like, I don't take any of it off ever.
I love your, like, stack and
Oh my
everything.
God, thank you so much. Thank you. And I feel like that is just such a big thing for us here. And, like, but it obviously is expensive to, like, you know, have, like, the real stuff. And, like, there's also obviously culture tied to a lot of these jewelry pieces. So I feel like it is great, too, that, like, not only are you doing that in general to make these, like, I guess, in a way, almost more sustainable jewelry pieces, but it is just so much, it works in Hawaii because we all friggin' love gold.
Yes, I know. It's so pretty. And speaking on, like, the price points and stuff, I think one of the reasons why we even started doing Hawaii-inspired pieces is because a lot of the really pretty Hawaii-inspired pieces are, like, from Maui Diver Jewelers and all that, and it's quite expensive.
It really
like, I
is.
love them. They're so pretty, but, like, I personally just don't think I can afford it.
Yeah. And I feel like, like, the girls can't, like, we're trying to, like, build our wealth, and we can't just throw it down the drain just when something's pretty. But it's nice you make, like, owning pretty things accessible and, like, make them kind of still have meaning, too, which is really cool. And it's not just, like, a Brandy Melville necklace.
Yes.
You mentioned, too, I couldn't find it. I tried to go look through your guys' Instagram, and I think I mentioned it when I first reached out to you. I loved, like, your little blurb about, like, your Lunar New Year line of, like, pieces, and I just was curious if you, like, wanted to share with anybody, too, like, a little bit more of the intention that you put behind, like, your Lunar New Year pieces or, like, any of your collections in general.
A lot of it is inspired by, you know, me. I think, you know, it's, if you look at Stay Golden as a brand, it is a little weird that we sell Chinese pieces and Hawaii inspired pieces because like it's just, you just never really see that combination. But like, because like the business is like inspired by like my experiences, you know, a lot of it is just, you know, especially the Chinese line is inspired by like my mom because every year during Lunar New Year's, my mom, you know, we have a booth in Cultural Plaza where like we sell like, they're called like, in Chinese, it's called Hawai'i Chen, or like good luck charms for like people to put on their doors and like hang on their cars and like their bags. Yeah. And so, you know, a lot of that was really just inspired by like the things that I experienced when I was young and just like the things that my mom sold.
Oh, wait, that's so cute. I love that. No, I really, really liked that line. I thought it was so cool. I was actually in the Cultural Plaza. I remember my mom actually, I think that was right around maybe when I talked to you, or maybe not. And my mom was like, oh, there's this girl there, like, called, like, Stay Golden and, like, whatever. I was like, oh, that's really cool. I was like, because I was in that, like, Narcissus pageant, so I was around. I was like, oh,
what?
I wish I ran into you.
Yeah, I saw that you're a part of it. That's so cool. Like,
Thank you, Queen.
I've always seen them when I was young, and I was like, oh, you guys are all so pretty.
No, but it's, like, it's interesting that you say, like, oh, you don't see Chinese and, like, Hawaii-inspired things together, but I'm like, I feel like it just makes so much sense. And like, I mean, at least as a Chinese girl from Hawaii, and you know, anyone else who's mixed with either of those or who lives here or whatever, it just makes so much sense. And it's like, it's so cool to like find that intersection. And like, even if it, not that it would feel wrong per se, but like, because it doesn't go with the status quo, like, I'm so glad that you went with it, because I think that's why you're so successful, is people see themselves in what you do.
Thank you. Yeah. It is a constant battle that we have, where I'm like, you know, releasing the Chinese things was something that we debated a lot as like a company, where it's like, you know, it's super niche.
Yeah.
And like the Hawaii inspired pieces are also super niche.
Yeah.
Like I think like 2025 and like this year is like the year where like we're really trying to lean into that.
Yeah.
And like hoping like what will happen with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really nice that you're giving me this feedback, because it makes me feel like, oh, like maybe this is like the right path to go down.
I personally think so. I mean, like, maybe I'm too specifically your target market. Like, maybe you want someone a little bit more on the perimeter. But, like, I think that is what makes you guys so unique. And, like, that's what would make me pick something from you guys rather than somebody else. Because I'm like, you can get just a gold necklace from anywhere.
Yeah.
But, like, those designs and stuff, like, that's unique to you guys.
Thank you.
And speaking of you guys, I was curious, you know, as an entrepreneur, I think you start off, obviously, kind of, it's all you, or maybe you start with a partner or whatever. I was curious at what point you started to like build a team. I think you'd mentioned like the word team or whatever, but obviously with the scale you're at now, you have a team. So I was curious, like, what that process of building a team looked like. At what point did you realize you needed it? What did you kind of keep for yourself, like for your responsibilities, like all that kind of stuff? I've been really interested.
I think the number one thing that the first person that I ever hired was someone to help pack orders for me, because I just was like really overwhelmed with like having to do everything and package orders at the same time. And you know, I don't blame our customers for this, but like if their order doesn't ship out within like 2 to 3 days, people start getting like anxious and like worried about their order. And so I really did not want them to like have that experience. And so, you know, the first person that I did hire was someone to package my orders. But now, you know, we're a team of like 6 to 8, and you know, I think as like a founder and like as like a boss, you kind of like have to lean on your team a little bit more when it comes to things that you're not really the best at. And like that's something that I had a hard time with, because I really wanted to do everything and make sure everything was perfect. But you know, when I did that, I had like no life, and I was super stressed. And it was just like really unhealthy for me. And so, you know, I had to learn how to just delegate certain things to certain people, so that I wouldn't have this type of like mental load, where I can focus on like the more important things, which are like, you know, the community and also like the products. And so now the number one thing that I do focus on are like the products. So like, you know, the product designs, the launches, and like how like the photo shoots look.
Oh wait, that's fun. I like that you kept those things.
Yes.
Oh wait, I was just having a conversation with our producer friend, and I was telling him like I've been having kind of similar thoughts for like the pod recently, of like at some point you kind of realize that there are some things that are your strong suit and some things that aren't. And I mean, even with this whole setup, like I could not do this alone at all. Thank you, Corey.
Yeah, a lot of like technical things that need to happen, and I'm not really a technical person either. I'm more like the creative side. So
yeah, and like even like social media, which I wanted to ask you about a little bit later, like I'm realizing too, I'm like, yes, I can persevere, but like there's a world where somebody else is more passionate about this and far better at it than me, and like why not work with a girly who like enjoys doing that more? I guess I was curious, let's just start with the social media. How long were like you running that for? Because I feel like that is kind of like, at least from my perspective, what kind of blew you up was on the internet and like TikTok, I think. So I guess like what was your, like, do you guys have like a current perspective on social media or strategy, or just like what are your thoughts on it when it comes to your business, or like do you guys have any like future outlooks, or is it kind of more in the hands of your social media manager now?
Good question. I think, you know, the way we blew up on like the internet was like being on TikTok, and like the first 1 to 2.5 years of like running the business, I was literally making every single piece of content that you could possibly see. Like I was making like 5 pieces of content every single day.
You're crazy.
And I was like cross-posting, and that's why we have such a huge following, is because, you know, I did like ride that wave very early on, and like we did make a lot of viral videos. I think now our approach is like not trying to go viral. I think going viral in the first to like 2.5 years of our business worked really well for us.
Yeah.
But then everyone like started doing the same things.
Yeah.
And so now I think our focus is not really trying to go viral, but more so just creating like an experience for our customers and like them seeing us as more of a fashion brand than like a trend chasing brand where we're just constantly making like random like TikTok trends, which is like really fun and engaging when you first start, but then like as a business grows, it's not really sustainable to be going viral consistently. And so now what we want to do is like elevate the brand a little bit more by, you know, maybe doing some viral trends here and there, but really just focusing on like the shoots and like the community and like just having photos and like content where like our community is like posting for us.
I love that. Have you ever thought about like growing your own personal social media? Because I know that you, at least I think I saw some videos that you're still in like recently. Like, have you ever thought about like bringing that over to your side, or are you like, I'm gonna stay out of it? Like,
when I first started the brand, you know, I was all over the company. I was like literally the face of the brand.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, I didn't mind it because I was growing the company. But as, you know, the brand matured, I really didn't want to be the face of the brand, only because I see Say Golden bigger than me. And I'm also naturally like really introverted. I think like a lot of the people that probably see the content that I'm in or like the content that they've seen of me in the past would be really shocked that I'm making content and like I'm like holding up my phone and talking to it, because like I literally was like mute in like high school. Unless you're like my really close friend, then maybe like you'd be like, oh, like that's Aliya. But like most of the people did not really see me that way. And you know, I want to be like, I don't want the brand to be like a faceless brand. Like, trust me, I literally do this every single day. I put a lot of like work and like heart into it, but like I just personally don't want to always be like the front facing of the brand, only because like I want like our customers to shine, our community to shine, and like I want to appear here and there like for special occasions, but not like all the time.
I love that. Yeah, I think that can like tie you down to a little bit sometimes when it's like it's the brand and it's me, but it's like no, like you're still here though. I love how you keep like bringing up like the community and all that. Like, what is like building the community around like a fashion brand kind of look like? Or like we kind of we met through your cinematographer that you've been using, Hannah, shout out Hannah. And I just was curious, like I love that you're like still hands-on and like those kinds of shoots. Like, what does that kind of like planning look like conceptually for you? Or like what's your vision there? Because like you guys have like some really cool content that comes out, which I like absolutely love.
Thank you. I think we're still working on the vision, if I'm going to be honest with you. You know, right now the USP of the company, you know, we're like Hawaii based, and the brand name Stay Golden. We want people to feel golden and happy. And you know, a lot of our content right now, like we are trying to move down that path where it's like when you look at Stay Golden, you wear Stay Golden, we want you to just feel happy and golden.
Oh, I feel like you guys have been like cooking up some really fun stuff. Like I loved that one like you shot in like the jewelry store or like the antique store. That was really cool. If you haven't already, go check out their social media. They like do some very cool, unique things, which I love. On the note, you were saying like people who kind of knew you in the past would be like, oh, like she's making content, like what's happening? First of all, I think it's so funny like seeing out of high school and then like out of college like who takes to the internet and who doesn't. Like I was just thinking about that for like my high school friend group, and it's interesting to see like for our high school class like who's taken to the internet, who hasn't. I think some of them have been like surprising people, and then the people who you think would aren't. Anyway, not important. But on that note of just like who you are and like kind of where that intersects with your business, I think like a lot of personal growth does intersect with what you do with your career. And I was curious if you've had any moments, or maybe you're currently going through one right now, where like you've seen like a correlation to like a personal growth and development of yours and kind of like your business and like your career ambitions.
That's a good question. That's something that I struggle with a lot, actually.
Oh, okay, interesting.
I think, you know, with the personal growth and like owning a business, like I didn't go to college. Like I was a college dropout. I have no like business background. And so, you know, stepping into a business where like I really just started making content at home. Like I didn't really expect much of it, except, oh, I'm gonna make some TikTok videos and people are gonna place some orders on my website. But now it's like a full-blown business, and it's like a big monster that I have to tackle. And along the way, I had to learn about so much business things, like business lingo, just logistical things of the business, and I'm like, dang, like I feel really dumb right now. But, you know, I just had to be really patient with myself, and thankfully I have such an amazing team where, you know, I don't always necessarily have to know everything, but like we're always collaborating and just like doing our very best with like what we know to improve the business. And so it's been really hard. Like I think this is the hardest thing that I've ever had to do. And funny enough, this is the longest thing that I've ever stuck with. I think,
really?
you know, in the past I've never joined any extracurricular activities. I've joined like clubs, but like I was never like fully committed into anything. I would always quit when like it would get hard for me. But like this is probably the one thing where I stuck out the longest, and I will continue to stuck out until like it's the brand that I see that I love.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on like what that is that you see in the future? Because like to me, I feel like it looks well and established and perfect, but like I think to you, like internally and probably to your team, like you guys have a bigger vision. Obviously some of that you probably want to keep in, but if there is anything you're willing to share of like what that bigger vision kind of looks like to you.
I think there's many actually, but I think the one that I feel like is the most tangible is, you know, we do want our own retail store one day. But not anytime soon, but we do want to be able to like interact with our customers and like see them in real life and just tap into different markets, because right now like we're like a D2C company where everything is online, but like we don't really get to interact with our customers that much unless we're doing like pop-up events, which I used to do, and I really love them, but they're personally just like super draining for me. And you know, our like online market just demands so much from us that like even though we would love to do these pop-up events, like we physically can't. And so in order to like fill that gap, like we do really want a retail experience for like our customers.
I could totally see that for you guys. I'm like, I can see it in Ala Moana. It's gonna be beautiful.
Yeah, hopefully there one day. Who knows?
Manifesting it, putting it into the universe.
Manifesting.
I love it. On that note too, of just like, you know, the business things that have been thrown your way, like I love that you kind of like didn't have the proper schooling for this and that you can still prevail. And I think there's a lot of times where people want to do things, but they're just like, okay, like I didn't like go to school for it or whatever, but it's like, no, like you can, guys, you can.
YouTube and the internet. So.
Right? So I was curious if there's like, what is like one of the biggest lessons you've learned trying to like get through the obstacle course of being a business owner kind of without that formal training? Like, is there anything that you would, any advice that you would give any like young entrepreneurs or the girls or anything?
I think number one, like, don't try to figure it out yourself. I feel like always like ask people that have done it like before. And so like my like secret tip that I like to do is I like to go on LinkedIn and I like to, you know, find people that have worked for like, you know, past jewelry companies that I looked up to and like ask them a bunch of questions. And so I think I've learned so much just by doing that, and like you'd be surprised, but a lot of people do want to help you. And so just like putting yourself out there and really reaching out to people that have done it before you so that you can learn from them.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you have any like notable people that you've gotten to talk to and you're like, wait, that was kind of cool that we'd know of? It's okay if not.
Can't really think of any. Well, I have been to like a bunch of like events where I met some like super cool people. I haven't really been able to directly talk to them, but a lot of them, I think it's pretty general. Like you kind of have to have it in you, like that motivation to like want it for yourself. I don't think anyone's going to like, no one can teach you that. So as long as like you have that internal motivation and that drive to like want to achieve something, you'll like figure it out.
I love that. Back to the point of like team building and stuff, I think like also like as we're going and like the girls are starting to like kind of get on their feet of their endeavors and their businesses and they are starting to look for those team members, like do you feel like you have any non-negotiables or like any kind of way that you went about curating like this team of yours? Because I think like, you know, there's teams that don't do well together and then there are teams that do. So I guess I was curious kind of like if you had any thoughts behind that.
It really depends. Like if you're a well-established company, I feel like it's different than like a company like mine where like we're still considered in like the startup phase. Like even though we've been in business for a long time, we have a huge following, like we're still very young and like still like learning and trying to like do a lot of things. And so what's important for me when it comes to my team is, you know, being able to pivot quickly because, you know, we can do things one week and the next week it could change. And you know, just being able to adapt very quickly. And number two, you know, like having ownership. I'm not here to like baby anyone or solve anyone's problems, to be honest. Like, we hired you to like solve our problems and like work together to like achieve something. I really don't like working with people who like brings problems to me and like expects me to solve it, because I'm just here like, isn't that your job?
Yeah.
To solve the problem.
Yeah. That kind of reminds me of like back in like my dance days when like I remember if you would have like a conflict or some sort of issue with something, like kind of what we were taught was, yeah, obviously tell the head person there's a problem, but you also come with the solution to like, oh, I'm not going to be here for this day, but here's the stand-in I have for this day, that day, and that day. Yeah. So great point of like, we're adults, like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, you can have problems. Like, problems are great. I expect like the team members and my colleagues to like give me their problems, but like we also have to have solutions to back it up. And like, I'm always very hands-on in like solving any problems that come up, but like you first need to provide a solution so that we can like figure out how we can like accomplish it.
Yeah. Would you say that like the vibe check is important too, or do you feel like you guys all kind of like lock in?
I think for me the vibe check is like really important. I mean, my business partner Ronnie, he's more of like the logistical side of the company, where like he does like all the hiring. Yeah. And so I kind of just let him like take the lead on that. But like for me, I am more of like a vibe check person. Yeah. And I like feel like I have a pretty good intuition when it comes to people. And so yeah, like if I'm working with you, like I have to get along with you. Yeah. And thankfully, like everyone that we work with, like I get along with them really well. If not, like they probably wouldn't have been hired in the first place. Yeah.
That's great. I know. I feel like that can be such like a, even if you think like school group projects, like if everyone gets along and it's like a great time, like that can make such a different, even like what we see as the consumer, like that can be such a different experience for us. Like even if like at the top, like things are good and we all like get along and all that. Such a great point.
Thank you.
I was curious on like, I guess a little bit more of like the businessy side of it. Like you went from not having a business one day to like having something. Like what did kind of like the first steps of like kind of creating this look like for you? I think like maybe some people would be interested in that, as well as just like the girls who like want to create a business, create a product. Like I think there was a point in time where I was like, I'm gonna make
really.
Girl,
what was your idea?
I was like, what about sustainable yoga mats?
Hey, that's a great idea.
I was like, don't take it. Anyway, but like once I had the idea, maybe did a little bit of research, I was like, oh my God, that's a lot of work. So like, what did that, because like you can't, did you hand make it in the beginning, or was it always a manufacturer? Or like, I'm curious about that, because I feel like what scares a lot of people away from making a business is dealing with those people perhaps overseas, or like these big other companies that you're corresponding with.
Yeah. I think the number one thing for me is I came into this with blind confidence. Like I didn't know what it would take to build a business like this. Yeah. You know, now looking back, like if I knew that I had to do all this, I don't know how confident I would have felt. But back then when I first started, I really just took it a day at a time. Like if problems came up that day, I just like had to figure out how to solve that problem. And so really it was just like taking it a day at a time and like figuring out, like solving problems when it came to me. I think if now when I think of business ideas, I'm a lot more cautious because like I know that it's not that easy. And so yeah, I think for me, I just had a lot of blind confidence. Like I did not know what to expect. And if, you know, you're first starting out your business, I would say that is very important. Like you don't always have to know everything. I think if you like overwhelm yourself with like all like the logistical things of the business and like the tactics, it could actually scare you away from like wanting to start anything. And so, yeah.
I love that. I feel like there is such a power in just doing, especially like do it when you don't feel ready, because you will figure it out. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of what I did today. It was like I think a lot of times like I think you have to just like almost like put it in the calendar and be like, oh my God, I have to figure that out. But like same with like kind of everything you do in life, you will figure it out, or you'll figure out a really creative way to get out of it.
Yep.
And like either way, right? So I feel like what I find very inspiring about you, even though I think we're pursuing pretty different things, is you kind of created your own path. And I think there's a lot of the people, the floating rock stars, that hopefully, you know, find that to be interesting and stuff. And I feel like I made an episode recently about kind of like being lost, and recently I kind of found myself in a moment of that, of like, oh my God, like I kind of feel lost right now. And I found actually a lot of clarity in that moment for myself. And I think a lot of the time when you are forging your own path, you know, people have obviously created businesses, but no business is the same.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, applying to a construction company and then becoming this and then that, like I feel like there's a lot more, not to shit on the construction people, sorry, the path just is not as clear. And I was curious if like you've ever had some like big moments of feeling lost with your company, and perhaps how you like overcame those moments.
Yeah, I think just communication. That's why like having a team is like so important, because you're gonna feel lost pretty much every day, honestly. I mean, I feel lost today, but I think you have to have like a really strong vision, like have the eye on the vision, and like no matter how lost you feel, that will pull you to like want to do it again the next day. And so yeah, it's just honestly just having like grit, like not wanting to give up.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I wish I had more to say about that, but that's kind of how I overcome it.
Yeah. No, but that's actually like a really good point. I think sometimes like we can take that lostness and kind of pull it inwards and like kind of stew about it in here, but I think sometimes you do have a good point in just like reminding yourself almost like of like the why of it all, I guess, and like of the vision. And I think sometimes we can get lost in like the details, like even for me of like to write a TV show, and I think sometimes it's easier to get stuck on the things that happened before that.
Yeah.
But if you remind yourself of, no, but that's the vision, I think you do actually get a lot of clarity from that.
Yes. And I think another thing that is very helpful is really just like surrounding yourself with like people who are on the same path as you. I think in like Hawaii, like there's not a lot of like e-commerce like founders here. And so what I like to do is like I fly out to like LA for like a lot of these conferences where I do get to meet like a lot of people who are on the same path as me, and like it feels a little less lonely. I think part of the reason why you feel lost is because like you just have like no one there to reassure you that, hey, like this is actually very normal. And so when you meet a lot of like other entrepreneurs who are on the same path as you, obviously like they could be more successful than you or like on the path of the same success as you, but like you just see that, hey, they're just really normal people and they're also struggling. Like part of that, like hearing that other people are struggling kind of makes you feel better that like this is actually very normal to feel lost.
On that note, like do you have perhaps like a lower moment that you've had that maybe people would be like, oh, okay, and even Aliya's had a low business moment?
I don't know. I try to stay positive. I mean, I'm very hard on myself. And so even though the business is doing well, I still feel like we could do better. And so when you talk about like the low moments that we have, I don't know. It's a low moment until we get what we want, for me. So
Period.
That sounds really bad to say, but like I just have like really high standards for myself. And like a funny story, but like we have, so Shopify, when you reach like 100,000 orders, they actually send you a trophy. It's like this like metal looking like Shopify bag.
I'm dead. Okay.
And to be quite honest, it's still in a box sitting at home in a closet.
That's so funny.
You know, part of me really wants to open it and really see this trophy that like, you know, we achieved as a company, but part of me is also like, this is not the goal. Like my goal is to reach 1 million orders, which sounds super crazy, and we're very, very far from it. But like, yeah, like for me, it's like I don't like to celebrate anything until like we really reach those like big milestones. And one of them is, you know, getting 1 million orders one day.
Yeah. Oh, but girl, that's a way to get there. I feel like that kind of mindset is like probably what's gotten you this far, and like kind of that just like trudging forward and like yeah, like thanks for the trophy. Like I see the other finish line though.
Yes.
Get it. I was curious, do you like for some reason you're like my dad's an engineer, and you're kind of like reminding me of like a little bit of him right now. And I was talking to my mom recently, and I found out that like, and you mentioned you're like introverted too a little bit, and I guess she was telling me like in the beginning when they first met, she like randomly stumbled upon his 5-year plan, and she's like, why didn't I hear about this? So I was curious of like, with all these big ambitions and like maybe keeping to yourself a little bit more, like, are you the type of person to like 5-year plan it? Like, are you like planning, or are you kind of just taking it day by day? Like, here's the next problem, this is how we're doing it.
Well, we do have like a 2 to 3 year plan for the company, but like logistically, we don't really plan that far. We plan in quarters. So, you know, Q2, quarter 2, which is like from April to like June, like we're going to be working on these things, and these are the only things that we're going to focus on. And so, you know, that's been like really helpful, where it's like sometimes when you think too far, it could be really like you can just be like too airheaded, where it's like, okay, yes, this is the goal, but like you need like tiny goals too to get there. And so yes, the 5 or like whatever year plan is very helpful, but like I think what's the most important is like looking at like the goals that you have like for the quarter.
Oh, I like that. On the note of quarters, because I feel like that probably correlates a little bit more. As you said, you were like the main designer, I guess, in the way of like the jewelry. I was curious, like, what goes into that for you? Like, what is kind of goes behind like how often you guys like make a new drop, and like, I guess like I'm so curious, like, is every drop themed, or do you do more like, I don't even know. Like, I'm just so curious, like, what goes in behind that, especially as someone who like didn't like go to art school for it or anything.
So we do try to drop weekly. But we haven't been doing that because, you know, there's been like delays with like the manufacturers and everything. But I think with the designs, like we're just testing a lot of things. You know, right now the lines that are performing really well for us are like the Chinese designs, specifically the ones with like Chinese characters on it. And then plumerias are doing really well for us. But like we're just making like a bunch of designs and seeing what works, and like really just like honing down into like those specific things. And so if people are showing signs that they love plumerias, then we're probably going to make more plumerias. If people are showing signs that they really love like, I don't know, like star-shaped things, then we'll design more star-shaped things. But this is like the first year where like we're really taking designs more seriously. And so I don't really have everything figured out, but like it's just more so like what performs well.
Would you say that like that kind of stuff takes up, like, what percentage of your time do you think the designing does? Like, I was gonna ask you, like, what does like a day in your life look like? I know a lot of people like it looks different every day, but like what is like an optimal day for Aliya look like?
An optimal day? An optimal day for work, or not for work.
A perfect day with a little bit of both.
I think, you know, ideally, the only thing that I want to work on is like design, and that's pretty much it. Like, I really just want to focus on design, on like the product. But now, like, you know, because we're still like a small business, like I can't only focus on that. I have to like put out fires when it's needed, and I have to do a lot of the other things of the company that I don't really like doing, but it's necessary for the business to grow. And so an ideal day for me in the future would just be design and marketing here and there. But right now it's just it's a little bit of everything. Like every day looks different for me because every day there's new problems. But I find the most joy when it comes to like working with like our designers to design new things.
Oh wait, fun. I love that for you. What else like do you love outside of, obviously I know we love to like hone in on career, like what do you love outside of that?
It's funny because I think the team asked me this the other day, and I told them like ideally my perfect day would literally just be waking up, going to like a really cute cafe to get like a nice juice, some pastries, and then heading to Foodland, getting a bunch of snacks, and just laying at the beach all day.
I love that.
So that's my ideal day if I was in Hawaii. But like if I wasn't here, like I would love to travel. Like I love traveling to Asia. Like I love like trying new like cuisines, and also just like it's just super cool that like everything is affordable there. So like you get to like just eat so many things and do so many different things in a day. And that's so different than like Hawaii, because like the lifestyle here is a lot more slow. A lot more of like what I'm used to. But then like traveling to Asia where it's a lot more busy like gets me out of my comfort zone, and part of me like really likes that because like I'm just doing something different.
Oh, that's fun. Speaking of getting out of our comfort zones and doing fun and different things, that leads us to our little segment today, brought to us by Holo Holo. Do you care to share what you got today, if you remember?
I got the strawberry guava lemonade.
Awesome.
I think
You did.
Yeah.
And then I got a hoppa lemonade, half iced tea, half lemonade. I did the mango peach iced tea today.
That's good.
And she's beautiful and gorgeous.
This tastes really good. I love it.
Right? Anyway, though, as we know, here in Hawaii, holo holo means to like go out, go on an adventure, just like let's go holo holo. So I have just like a fun little rapid fire round of just like whatever comes top of mind first for you. So you never leave the house without this in your bag.
My phone.
Your phone.
I'm a very simple girl.
Love it.
Literally, my bag has nothing in it except for maybe like a lip balm
I love it.
and like my phone. I'm super simple, guys.
Do you deck out your phone too, or do you feel like you
No.
keep that more simple?
It's super. It looks like this, guys.
This is she. She could be anyone. Keeps you
Like,
mysterious.
yeah. I think there's just so much going on in my life that everything else in my life outside of work is super simple.
That's so valid. Okay, so new adventures are fun. I feel like I already know your answer to this. You know, going on a new hike or whatever. But all roads lead back to blank.
All roads lead back to being
Yeah.
home in Hawaii, I guess.
Mm.
I feel very grateful that I get to live here. It's funny because like whenever I go like to like these business conferences and stuff, everyone is always shocked that I'm from here. And I think people have like a negative connotation when it comes to like people here, where it's like, you know, you're not ambitious, or like the lifestyle is just so slow, like how can you possibly own a business here? And luckily for me, I've always wanted to live here. Like a lot of my friends that I look up to have like moved away from here to achieve like their careers, because honestly like there are more opportunities in the mainland.
Yeah.
But like I'm so lucky that, you know, I get to work from home for my business, so like I get to have the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I was gonna say I really admired that about you too. Of like, obviously a lot of the creative kind of entrepreneurial people, like you're always told there's better things elsewhere. But like I think that's also what's made us who we are, and kind of has created the roots of whatever goals and ambitions we have. Like your mom's shop is here in Hawaii, and like I feel like that's such a big inspiration for you, and I'm so glad that you stayed here, and I hope that it's paying off, because I feel like you cater to us very well.
Thank you.
Okay, what is your favorite time to holo holo? Are you going on like morning adventures? Are you like going for night drives, midday?
I'm more of like a midday type of person. I want to be out when the sun's out.
Love
like
it.
if the sun's not out, I'm sorry, I'm not leaving like my home.
Period.
Like I just
You and the
feel,
UV.
I just need the sun.
I feel you. The past couple of days of rain have probably been tough. I
It's
know.
been so hard.
Right?
Like mentally, I'm like, I hope it doesn't stay like this forever.
I was like, I see what they mean by seasonal depression. At first, I didn't believe you guys. I was like, okay, fine, you have a point. Okay. What is your favorite thing to drink while you holo holo when you're going between meetings and to the warehouse or to the beach? What do you always find yourself sipping on?
Water.
Water. You're hydrated.
I know. I mean, ideally, I would want to like sip on like juice, but like I don't really have that readily available, and like I don't drink caffeine because like
you're better than everyone else. I hope you know that.
Thank you. It's just I just whenever I drink caffeine, I just get a headache and it feels super jittery, and so I love the taste. I love matcha. I love coffee. I love the way it tastes, but like I can't handle it.
Do they do decaf matcha? No, right?
I don't think so. I don't even think that's possible. I know there's like a less caffeinated version called hojicha, which is like burnt like green tea. So I usually drink that if like I really want to have like tea.
Oh, wait, super interesting. And lastly, Holo Holo, the company this time, is all about spreading aloha every day through like great drinks and cute service. And I was curious how you bring aloha throughout your days every day.
I think just like saying hi to people. You know, whenever I open the door, I always like make sure that I'm opening the door for the person that's like almost coming or almost like entering the door too. I feel like it's a little bit hard to like show aloha in this day and age because like we're always on our phones. Like everyone is just so disconnected and like I think just like the tiny things, like engaging in conversations, saying hi, like saying thank you. I know those are like super simple things, but like no one even does that anymore. And so just like engaging in conversations when you can and just smiling.
And I feel like even too, like on the note of travel, like when you go other places, you do notice yes, we're on our phones here, but I'm like, you feel it lacking so much in other places too, which like when you come back, you're like, oh my God, and like you can talk to the people at the grocery store and like hold doors open and smile, and people smile back. They let you in with your car, and like, I feel like you don't notice it until you're away from it.
I know.
Yeah. And that leads us to only 2 more questions.
Okay.
But anything on the horizon, anything exciting coming up for Stay Golden that you can share with us that's kind of fun on your mind?
Nothing I can share now,
Valid.
but, you know, I am very excited for this year because this is, like, again, the year where we're really leaning into, like, more designs. And so you will be seeing more, like, fun designs coming from us.
That's really exciting. Big proponent of that. And lastly, do you have any favorite like quotes or like life lessons that you like to live by that you feel like the Floating Rock Stars will enjoy?
It's funny, I actually have this quote on my phone because it's so long, and I feel like we kind of touched on it.
Oh, let's hear it, please. Indulge me.
I'm going to share it again.
Yeah.
The quote is, "You don't find passion, you build it. It is cultivated as you improve your skills. You get more passionate about something as you get better at it, and that something can be many different things throughout your life." By Mark Manson.
Thank you, Mark. Wait, I actually really like that. Yeah, like that's funny. We kind of talked about that.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I love that. Well, thank you so much for coming on the pod.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. This is fun. Like, this is my first time on an actual podcast. So, yeah. I love that we're sitting on a couch because it feels very comfy.
Right? Just a hang.
Yeah.
I hope that, you know, everyone kind of got to know you better, a little bit more about your business, because it's like, it is cool to actually get to know the humans behind these websites that we buy from. And after learning about you more, I definitely want to support.
Thank you.
Yeah, but anyway, friends, follow the pod at floating.rock.podcast, subscribe on YouTube, rate it on Spotify and Apple, all that loveliness. Thank you again, Aliya, for being here. This is so much fun to get to know you. Go shop Stay Golden Hawai'i and get dripped out. Okay, bye, friends.